Hey, this is Meredith Powell,
And welcome to my home here in Asheville, North Carolina. I really wish I was there with you in person, but this is the next best thing because we're going to dive into an exciting topic: success redefined, the impact of women leaders, diversity, and inclusion. Look, whoever thought a virus could so drastically disrupt the marketplace? Businesses have shut down, social distancing has become the norm, and it has us all wondering when, if ever, things are going to return to normal. And what is normal even supposed to look like now? It's enough to make you believe that success is impossible, that there's too much change coming way too fast, or there's way too many obstacles in the way. But I've got to tell you, nothing could be further from the truth. There is so much opportunity in today's marketplace. If you understand where to look, if you know where to focus, and if you have the strategies to really turn all of this uncertainty into your competitive advantage. And that's what we're going to focus on in this program today. We're going to redefine success and show you how diversity, inclusion, and you, and woman leader, can really make an impact. So let's dive in. Let's start talking about the strategies, the steps, and everything that you need to know to turn uncertainty to competitive advantage, and why this economy is ready-made for the skills that come naturally to us as women. I mean, think about the world we live in today, right? We're all at home right now, Googling until our heart is content. You know you are, and you're getting everything you need, everything you want, every little thing your heart desires. It can be delivered right to your door. Now, that makes this an economy like none of us have ever lived in, worked in, let alone tried to grow our credit unions in before. That makes this an economy where it is less about what you sell and it is all about how you offer it. Listen, today customers have no problem finding products and services. What they're looking for are people they can trust, people who add value, people who understand how to build a relationship. And I don't know anybody who knows more about relationships than women. This is an economy ready-made for the skills that come naturally to us. Gone are the needs for competing. Gone are the needs to be aggressive. What you need to succeed in today's marketplace is the ability to connect, the ability to communicate, and the ability to have compassion for our members and one another. And these are skills that come naturally to us. Everything about this marketplace is shifting, and it is shifting in a way that speaks to the skills and the advantages that we have as women and as diversity and the need for inclusion. Let's just look at some of the statistics. Did you know that women-owned businesses, they are growing at 2 times the national average? Over 47% of today's US population describes themselves as a minority, and that percentage is continuing to grow. Companies with diverse teams hit their goals over 120% of the time. And companies with diverse leadership teams see profits of more than 20% over their competitors. And women, we make 85% of the buying decisions, 95% when it comes to healthcare. That means men aren't buying anything unless they ask us first. And if the women's market were a country, it would be bigger than India and China combined. Now, I want you to take a moment and think about that. And I want you to say to yourself, wow, there has never been a better time to be me in today's marketplace. Now, why am I sharing this with you? Because I want you to understand that with diversity and inclusion, women leaders are making an impact. There has never been a better time to be us in the marketplace. And if you did nothing, changed nothing about how you approached work or what you did every day, the chances that you are going to be successful, they are growing exponentially. But listen, We're women, and I have never known women to sit around and do absolutely nothing. So, what I want to focus on in this program is number one, I want you to understand that everything about this marketplace, everything about this economy, it speaks to the skills that you have. The tide has shifted, and it is time to embrace your feminine side and step into the skills that we bring to the table. Because if you want to be successful, it's about connecting, it's about communication, and it is about having compassion for your members and your team members. But listen, there are some things that we can do to really up our game. The doors have swung open and there are incredible advantages in today's marketplace, but you want to be prepared. You want to be ready. You want to put yourself in the driver's seat and 100% in charge of your own career. So there's 3 strategies that I want to share with you today. But before we get there, I want you to go to the link that you see in this video because I have put together a very special quiz for you. It's the Thrive Indicator quiz, and you can see where you fall on the scale of success. And just for taking the quiz, you're going to get your personal assessment, your personal steps and strategies of things that you can do to really even position yourself to be more successful. Now, why does this matter? It matters because the beautiful thing about women being successful is we make everybody else around us successful. The research, the statistics, they're just incredible. When a woman improves in the workplace, she improves the company, she improves the team, and she improves her community. So I want you to step in to your power and know there has never been a better time for you to be successful. All right, drum roll, please. What do you need to be doing to really up your game, to take advantage and redefine success and take advantage of all the opportunities in today's marketplace? See, I told you when we started this, there is so much opportunity in today's marketplace, but you have to know where to focus. You need to know where to look, and you need to understand these strategies. All right, number one. If you want to succeed in today's marketplace, if you want to redefine your success and take advantage of all the opportunity, you need to begin by finding your voice. You need to begin by learning to ask for what you want. I know you've heard that before, but as women, it's not something we're good at. Listen, when I started my career, I bought into this idea, and I don't know where I got it, and I bet you bought into it too, that I believed that if I just worked hard, somebody would notice. And then when that didn't work, I decided that I would work harder and somebody would notice. And all of a sudden, just like you, I worked in financial services. And for me, I found myself working in a sea of men. And I noticed that the people around me were getting promoted. They were getting opportunities to go to events with customers. And they were getting little perks here and there that I was not getting. Now, this really made me angry because you see, I was my boss's right hand. I was the person that he counted on for everything. If he couldn't go to a meeting, he sent me. If he had a meeting with a very important member and he couldn't attend, he sent me. Needed somebody to volunteer in the community to be on a board, he sent me. And I've got to tell you, I loved it. I felt like I was growing, I was learning, I was challenged, and I was positioning myself for promotion in the company. But there was just one problem. I wasn't getting promoted. Well, I was getting lots of paid, unpaid opportunities, but I wasn't getting promotions. Now, I just decided to get mad. I worked hard. Why didn't he notice? Why wasn't he paying attention? How could he not be promoting me? And one night I was out with my girlfriends, and I don't know if they were just tired of listening to me complain over and over again, how it wasn't fair that I worked harder than anybody else in our organization, but I wasn't getting as many opportunities. And one of my girlfriends said to me, she said, well, why don't you go talk to your boss? Well, at first I got indignant. Why should I have to talk to him? He should notice how hard I work. He should notice how dependent I am upon him. But when I got home later that night and I started to think about it, I started to think, well, maybe she's right. And I didn't want to talk myself out of it. So before I could stop myself, I sent him an email and asked if I could meet with him. And to my surprise, I got an email right back that said, be in my office at 7:30 the next morning. Now, I was scared to death. I had never done anything like this before in my life. And I really believed if I deserved a promotion, then he should notice how hard I was working. But isn't the definition of insanity to do the same thing over and over again and expect a different result? So with all the courage I could muster, I walked into Jeff's office that very next morning and I sat down. Now, I decided to do this my way, to present it in a way that felt comfortable for me. And I think that's important for you. I want you to find your voice, not somebody else's voice. I want you to find a voice that is comfortable for you. But I got all my courage up, took a big deep breath, and I started off by thanking him. I said, Jeff, I want to thank you for all the opportunity you give me. I appreciate the meetings that you allow me to lead, the position I take in the community, and that you trust me with our best members. But I want you to know that I see opportunity for myself in this organization. I see myself going up in the ranks, and I need to know what else I need to be doing to get those opportunities. Because what I see is myself working very hard, but I see everybody else getting opportunity. And as soon as I finished, there was dead silence. Nothing. It seemed like 3 hours. I'm sure it was 3 minutes. But all of a sudden, Jeff pushed back from his desk. He put his hands on his head and he said, I am so sorry. I never noticed. He said, Meredith, why didn't you say something before? He said, you're my most valuable employee. And of course, I see you taking on big leadership roles. Of course, I see opportunity. He said, but I just wasn't focused there. He said, Meredith, you need to learn to ask for what you want. And you know what? That's the biggest lesson I have ever gotten. Now, I've got to tell you, that opportunity came with a $10,000 raise and 2 country club memberships. Now, I want you to know that doesn't always happen. But what that lesson taught me is that I need to learn to ask for what I want in life and in business. When I'm out with our top members, I needed to learn to ask for the business. When I was in meetings, I needed to learn to speak up and ask for what I want. And even in my personal life, I needed to learn to do that too. Because I've got to tell you, I am married to a wonderful man. My husband is a funny man. He is a kind man. He is a hard-working man. But what my husband is not is a romantic man. And for years, this would be one of the biggest fights we would ever have. I would expect him to do all these little things for me. And when he didn't, I would get mad. My husband is that man that on Valentine's Day night, he is in the store at exactly 6 o'clock, picking one of the last 2 cards that are left. And again, for years, we would have a fight about this. But I decided to drink my own Kool-Aid, eat my own dog food, take my own advice. And what I decided to do was I came up with all these little romantic things my husband could do. Now, if you came home with me right now, you would walk into my kitchen, and in my kitchen, you would see a jar. And in that jar would be all these little slips of paper full of romantic ideas. Going on a picnic, buying me flowers, planning a date. And every month, I fill that jar up with romantic ideas. And once a week, my husband pulls one of those slips of papers out, and I pretend to be surprised. He gets kudos for being romantic, and all is right with the world. See, we have to learn to ask for what we want. I want you to understand that everything about this marketplace has shifted. There has never been a better time for you, never been more opportunity, but you have to find your voice. Don't fall into the trap that if you work hard, people will notice. Don't expect people to know what you want. I was working with a client working for a very large corporation. Now, she had a 13-year-old daughter and a 9-year-old son, and her biggest priority in life were her children, understandably. But she was an incredible worker, and she wanted to stay home with her kids until her children finished high school. So she only wanted to work part-time. She believed because she only worked part-time that she couldn't be promoted, that she wouldn't be up for a raise. She thought she should just keep her mouth shut, count her blessings that she had a job. But in the work that we did together, I encouraged her to ask for what she wanted, because what I knew was the CEO of the company thought she was one of the best employees she had ever had. She thought she was fantastic and completely understood having children as a priority. And through coaching and developing, Katrina went in and asked for what she wanted. She wanted to work in another area of the company, take on a little more responsibility, and she wanted a raise to come with it. And you know what? She got it. Now, she got it because the thing that you have to understand about finding your voice is performance is power. And I know all of you out there, you're just like me. We work hard. We give it everything we've got. And when you have laid the foundation of performance, then you've got to learn to find your voice and ask for what you want. So the challenge to you on the table is, what do you want? What do you see for yourself in the next year or two? What would make work more enriching and more satisfying for you? It doesn't have to be a promotion. It can be an educational opportunity. It can be coming to conferences and events like this. It can be just shadowing or working in a different department. It doesn't matter. You work hard, get clear on what you want, and don't be afraid to go for it. All right, that's strategy number one. Now, strategy number two, I am passionate about, because I believe if you build your network, it will change your life. I think one of the most powerful things that we can do are build the connections and build our network. Now, every time I say the word networking, it is like I feel the energy suck right out of the room. And I get it. Who wants to walk into a room full of strangers, right? Or even in a virtual conference and talk to people we've never met? But here's the thing. Research shows that over the course of a lifetime, if you're willing to push out of your comfort zone and you're willing to network, guess what? You're going to be promoted more often. You're going to make more money. You're going to get more lucky breaks, and you're going to experience less stress. I would say that is a pretty strong return on investment, all for building your network. And right here, right now, at this conference, you have an unbelievable opportunity to build your network. In fact, I think it's one of the most important parts of a conference like this, are the people that you meet with and the people you connect. Because I want you to think about this. Right here, right now, in this conference is someone, probably more than one person, who has the skills, the ability, the talent, and connections to solve any problem you have. Think about that. Anything that you want in life, any problem you need solved, you're only one connection away from solving that. If you study successful people like I do, and I am passionate about studying successful people, you will see that one of their biggest secrets to success is in their network. It's in building their connections. Now, here's the thing. One of the reasons that we don't like to network is because we believe that networking is about talking about ourselves. But guess what? It's not. If you are good at networking, then what you're good at is getting other people to talk about themselves. So I'm going to give you a networking tip. All you need to network effectively are 5 open-ended questions. Just 5 open-ended questions. If you and I met virtually or in a hallway somewhere, your job would just be to introduce yourself and then ask me something like, Meridith, tell me what you do for a living. Well, that's fascinating, Meridith. How did you get into that? What are you working on for 2021? How has 2020 been for you? Has it impacted your industry? What's the best piece of advice you've ever been given in business? And what do you like to do when you're not working? See, here's the thing that happens when you network like that. Number one, you find out everything you need to know about me. You find out what I do, who I'm connected with, and you get little nuggets that you can put back here in your storage unit to figure out if somewhere down the road, maybe you need to lean in and ask me for a little help. But more importantly, by asking me open-ended questions, here's the thing you've done. I like you. I like you a lot. Why? Because the one thing we want to talk about in life is ourselves. So the key to networking is number one, get other people talking. Get them talking about themselves. Because number one, you find out everything you need to know about somebody. And number two, you build trust, you build connection, and you build relationship. Always remember, networking is not about talking about you. Just forget the elevator speech. Forget about passing out your business cards. Just work on and forget about repeating a person's name 3 times. All I want you to do is remember 5 open-ended questions. Just get other people talking. Now, the last piece that you need to remember about networking is one interaction does not a network make. You have to nurture those relationships, build those relationships. See, if you came home with me right now and you got up with me in the morning, the first thing you would need to know is I would look nothing like this, not even remotely like this. But you would see that every single morning, I reach out to somebody in my network. Maybe I reach out on LinkedIn. Maybe I decide to make a phone call that day, or I just shoot somebody a text and said, I'm thinking about you. One of the things I love about social networking is it gives us an opportunity to stay in touch and to stay connected with people. And you have to nurture those relationships along. You have to invest in other people before you ask them to invest in you. Now, I wish we were together in person, because if we were, this is one of my favorite exercises to do, to get you networking and just show you how easy it is. But I want you to do something for me. Since we can't be together in person, I want you to promise that you're going to reach out to one person when this conference is over. You're going to make at least one connection here. You're going to set up a virtual coffee, and you're just going to ask some open-ended questions. Because if you build your network, it will change your life. All right, there we've got it. We have 2 of the 3. We know we have to begin by finding our voice. We've got to be clear on what we want and have the courage to ask for it. We lay the groundwork in that performance is power. From there, we need to build our network. We need to nurture those relationships and understand that we are always only one connection away from somebody who can change our life and change it in a very positive way. What could possibly be left? We know as women, I think we're funny. We do everything together. We cheat on diets together. We go to the bathroom together. We go to Pilates and yoga together. But in business, not so much. And if we want to really step in and redefine our success, we have got to learn to band together. We've got to realize that the success of any female or any minority is a step forward for all of us. Years ago, I was the first female chair of our Chamber of Commerce. It was the first time they had ever let a woman into this position. And I was actually quite young at the time. And the day that I was elected, I tell you, I was pretty full of myself because I felt like I had cracked the ultimate glass ceiling. It was a kind of a town where women just didn't chair boards, let alone the ultimate business board in town. And I remember where I was the day that I got the call. I was in my office at the organization for which I was working. And I was sitting there basically at my desk watching my head swell. I was so full of myself when I got the call from Dottie Wexler. Now, Dottie was kind of a pillar in our community. She was quite philanthropic. And I live in Asheville, North Carolina, kind of in, well, not kind of, it is in the South. And Dottie had this great Southern accent. You see, before Dottie had retired and become philanthropic, she was the secretary at one of our local banks. And Dottie called me, introduced herself, even though I knew who she was. She was kind of legendary in our community. And she said, "Meridith, this is Dottie Wexler, and I just called to congratulate you." Now you can imagine I'm sitting there with my head getting bigger and bigger. And she said, "I've just been up at the club with the ladies, and we've all been drinking champagne because we knew this day would come." She said, "We've been toasting in your honor." She said, "Meredith, back when I was a secretary at the bank," she said, "we couldn't be on boards. We couldn't even be on committees. No way could we ever be chair. But all of my women friends didn't matter. We still did the work. We planned all the events. We raised all the money. And the reason we did it is we knew this day would come. We knew eventually that ceiling would have to be cracked and that women would not only be on committees, but you all would be on boards. And look at you now, you're chairing that board." And I sat there in that moment and I realized I hadn't cracked that ceiling. I hadn't even dented it all by myself. I was standing on the shoulders of all the women who had come before me, who had been willing to sacrifice, who'd been willing to do the work so that I could be successful. And as women, we need to band together. You need to realize that any progress you make, it may benefit you, it may benefit your children, it may benefit your grandchildren. What you need to realize is one success is the success of all. So there you've got it. Those are the steps. Those are the strategies. What do I want you to take away from this presentation? I want you to understand, based on those statistics, it has never been a better time to be you in this marketplace. If you did nothing, there's more opportunity than there has ever been in the marketplace. Women are making an impact, and companies are realizing that in order to be successful, they have got to diversify. They have got to be inclusive, and they have got to put women into the position of leadership. But that's not enough. You have to step into your own, and you have to step in to these strategies. You've got to work hard to find your voice. You've got to learn to speak up for what you want, but you've got to lay that foundation with performance. You need to begin there. You do a good job and then you ask for what you want. You need to build your network. Your network is powerful and it's going to help you learn the skills, build the connections, and open the doors that you need opened. And last but not least, we need to band together. You need to be as concerned about everyone else's success as you are concerned about your own. If you're lucky enough to climb the ladder, turn around and make it easier for somebody else. Listen, I know that these are challenging times out there. I can make a list of all the reasons you can be successful and all the reasons that you can't, but I have been doing this long enough to know that the reasons you can't succeed are always going to be longer than the reasons that you can. But the difference between people who succeed and people who don't is that people who succeed focus on what they can control and they forget about the rest. I think that's amazing. The success is not about talent, luck, money. It is about focusing on what you can control. And what I promise you is that if you focus on the strategies I've given you here, if you embrace this idea that there has never been a better time to be you, if you find your voice, if you build your network, and if you band together, you're not only going to redefine success, but you're going to take advantage of diversity, inclusion. And as a woman leader, you are going to make an impact. Listen, I'm Meridith Elliott Powell, and I cannot thank you enough for your time today. Please remember to follow this link, take the quiz, and figure out where you fall on the Thrive Indicator scale. And last but not least, I am passionate that if you build your network, it will change your life. If we are not connected, please reach out and connect with me. Go to my website, valuespeaker.com. At the top, you'll find a purple bar called Emerge Successful. Click on that. You'll find it chock full of free tools and resources that you can use to emerge successful, because together we're going to thrive in all this uncertainty.